This experiment's dark, but it proves something real about belief. Scientists put rats in water to see how long they'd tread before drowning. On average, they last about 15 minutes. With the second group though, just before they gave up, the scientists pulled them out, dried them off, and let them recover, and then they dropped them back in. You'd think they'd last for maybe 20 or 30 minutes tops, but they swam for 60 hours. Not minutes, hours. Why? Because once they had experienced being saved, once they believed it could happen, they kept going. But that wasn't endurance, that was hope. And that's how most people live too. They don't drown from exhaustion, they drown from disbelief. They don't quit because they're weak, they quit because they stop believing something's coming to pull them out. But here's the twist, you're not the rat anymore, you're the one who's been pulled out. So when life gets heavy, when it feels like you're treading and nothing's changing, remember, your body will only go as far as your mind believes. It's worth continuing. Don't fold at 15 minutes, you've got 60 hours in you, but only if you remember what you're really capable of. You see, I've met a lot of people that say they believe, but deep down, they don't trust. They might say the affirmations, they might repost the quotes on Instagram, but in their spirit, they're still preparing to fail. Because it's not enough to just say you believe. You have to literally embody it. You have to trust it from the bottom of your soul, like you breathe, like literal gravity. That's why the real ones often build in silence, because belief isn't loud, it's not flashy, it's ruthlessly committed. Belief is in the man who shows up every day when no one claps. It's in the girl who keeps writing songs even when no one's listening. It's in the founder who builds like the rent is due. Not for hype, but because the vision is already real inside of them. They don't need the signs, they are the sign. Listen, and if you want to build anything legendary, you have to train yourself to trust like that. Doubt whispers, faith walks. Real belief is invisible until it's undeniable. That's what this video is about. First, we have to start with rejecting the ego and all of the fake belief that it curates. There's a quote that I've been living by. Be disconnected from the past, realistic about your present, and delusional about your future. The problem is that most people get stuck in the middle. They're delusional about the present, and ego is the reason. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine inherited some money and decided he was gonna open a restaurant. Sounded like a good idea on the surface, but the deeper you looked, the more it became obvious. It was all ego. No real market research, no operational experience, horrible lease situation, and worst of all, he believed he could just will it into success because he'd watched one too many manifestation reels. He said all the right things, had the vision board, affirmations, but none of it touched reality. And the numbers just simply didn't add up. Like the actual financial model was cooked. He quickly saw reality. The lease started to bleed him dry and the landlord was out for blood. I remember sitting across from him at a coffee shop. He was smiling, but you could see his hands shaking. He was already 2 months behind on where he was supposed to be. A lawsuit was incoming, and you could see it in his eyes, like through his eyes to his soul. He didn't believe anymore. He was pretending. When belief is real, it moves mountains. When it's ego, it builds castles in the sand. Real belief is grounded. It listens. It lets go when it needs to, because forcing doesn't create miracles. Trust does. Next, you have to understand how to actually curate unwavering belief. Let's flip the script on all of this and see it in action. Conor McGregor, years before he ever touched a belt, before he touched any money, before he touched fame, he spoke it like it was already done. I see myself with the belt. I see myself winning by knockout. I visualize it so much like it's already happening. But it wasn't just words, it was obsession. The vision consumed him. He lived like he was already champion. He moved like it. And that's what people miss about belief. It's not some fluffy feel-good state, it's violent. It takes over. It rewires you. He trained like his life depended on it. He starved, he bled, he sacrificed relationships, comfort, normalcy, all for a future that only existed in his mind. You don't become world-class by kinda believing. You become world-class when belief starts burning your bridges for you. If your belief isn't obsessive, it won't carry you through the drought. Okay, but how about when the universe starts to test you? What about when it gets really hard? Well, how about we ask my favorite rapper, Future. He didn't blow up in his early 20s like Drake. He had to wait. But here's the key. He didn't hope that he'd be great. He knew it. I was rereading an article from 2016. He's quoted saying, "I've been going to the studio every day for the last 5 years. People say, why you work so hard? Because I know I'm gonna be worth more than them at the end of the day. Once my work catches up to my worth, I'm gonna be a billionaire." That's not confidence, that's clairvoyance. If you know where you're going, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, or how people look at you. He was stacking songs no one would hear for years. He was sharpening a sound that the world hadn't caught up to yet. He wasn't chasing a break, he was the break. It just hadn't arrived yet. That's Future. That's frequency. That's the vibration of inevitability. That's the level you need to channel. So this is all good and well, right? But let's get to a tactical blueprint. Here's the part people don't like. You still need the right vehicle for all of this stuff. That's living in reality. I picked Amazon in 2013 because the data made sense. While everyone else was playing victim to the economy, I was sourcing products, learning that algorithm, and treating the platform like my literal battlefield. I wasn't better, I wasn't chosen, I just showed up every single day like the rent was due. like my daughters that weren't born yet were watching. There was no applause, there was no hype, just this quiet knowing. This will all work out if I do not fold. The belief came from action, from stacking days, from losing money, learning the hard way. Man, I was shipping boxes myself in the beginning. This starts with first principle thinking. What does the system reward? How do I reverse engineer success? Elon Musk famously said, if you're trying to build something, the best you can do is reduce it to physics, the raw principles. From there, rebuild it. Now, this is the real value I'm trying to bring to you in this video. How can we go from manifestation, belief, hope, Conor McGregor, future, to first principles and physics? It's because it's all part of the same formula. It's all part of the same equation that makes up life. So applying first principles, this ground up thinking, that's what I did. That's what you can do. Your future is a formula. Belief is just the power source. Once you have the right strategy, you just need your belief to be louder than your self-doubt. You need to become a force. So I want to leave you with the 7-step blueprint for turning your belief into results. First, audit all of your inputs. Your mind is a garden. What you feed it grows. Clean your algorithm. Cut the noise. Follow people who make you think bigger, not feel smaller. Your future is being programmed with every scroll, every input. Next, choose the right vehicle. Skills matter. Markets matter even more. Pick the thing that aligns with your strengths and the direction the world is already heading. Right opportunity, wrong timing, still wrong. Right timing, wrong vehicle, you stall. Third, ground yourself in data and then move like a mystic. Know your numbers, study the battlefield, but once you move, trust the unseen. Let your intuition guide execution. Logic finds the door, belief kicks that bitch open. Fourth, brainwash yourself in a good way. Curate your music, your environment, your visuals. Create a reality loop that makes success seem inevitable. Your subconscious builds what it rehearses. You don't manifest by hoping, you manifest by rehearsing. 5, obsess over the boring stuff, the details, the repetition, the days that no one sees. Mastery isn't glamorous, it's obsessive. The algorithm rewards discipline. The universe does too. 6, track proof. You might not be rich yet, but did you solve that problem faster? Did your content hit a nerve? Are strangers DMing you? Are you slowly getting sales? Progress often feels invisible, but proof is what leaves a trail. Attach to that. 7, attach your mission to something bigger. Your why has to be stronger than your ego. Make it about legacy, about people, about God. Otherwise, you're gonna quit when it gets inconvenient. Discipline without devotion eventually breaks. When you stack these 7 steps, now we're not hoping anymore. We're moving like it's already done. We live in the greatest window of opportunity that has ever existed. You can build a brand from your bedroom. You can turn your pain into power. You can turn your story into wealth. That's like the real reason behind why I started $1 Million Brand Club. Not just to give you the tactical blueprint. I mean, we're literally doing 9 figures online every year. It's about giving you a community and the emotional programming that actually carries you across the bridge, being around the right people. Iron sharpens iron. Most people fail because they try to do it alone. You don't have to. You are different. You wouldn't have made it to the end of this video if you weren't. I just want to leave you with this. Don't fold at 15 minutes. You've got 60 hours in you, but only if you remember what you're really capable of. The sky is the fucking limit, family. Lock in, throw away that key.